You are 26. A steel gate slides shut behind you. Nobody is waiting outside. In your hand, $40 and a plastic bag with everything you owned 8 years ago. You start walking, because walking is the only thing left that feels like a decision. Level 1, the box. You are 26, and the checklist a counselor handed you on your last day inside said this part would be simple. Find work. Find housing. Report to your parole officer within 48 hours. Simple, on paper. You fill out 47 applications over 3 weeks. Warehouses, delivery routes. A stockroom job that seemed like it wouldn't ask questions until it did. Every form has the same box near the bottom. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? You check yes because the background check finds it anyway, and lying just adds a second reason to fire you later. 47 boxes checked. 47 silences that follow. One manager actually calls you back, looks you over for exactly 4 seconds, and says the position's been filled. The printout on his desk, visible upside down, still says otherwise. Your parole officer, a man named Reyes who carries a caseload of 91 people and remembers maybe half their names, tells you during check-in that 8 years for armed robbery reads differently to employers than 8 years for almost anything else. That's just the math, he says, not unkindly, just tired. You nod like the math makes sense. It doesn't. It just is. Level 2, the deposit. You are still 26, 5 weeks out now. You find a room for rent above a hardware store, $650 a month. A landlord who seems fine with the price until the background check comes back the same week. He keeps your $85 application fee. Non-refundable, he reminds you, pointing at fine print you signed without reading closely enough. Your money is down to $310. You've been sleeping at a shelter with a curfew of its own. On top of the curfew Reyes already enforces, 2 separate clocks you have to answer to every single night. You call your sister. 8 years ago, she visited you twice a month without fail. The last 4 years, the calls got shorter, then stopped. You show up at her apartment unannounced because the phone stopped working when your minutes ran out. She opens the door 6 inches, sees your face, and something in her expression isn't anger. It's exhaustion, the specific kind that comes from being disappointed by the same person too many times to count. I can't do this again, she says. I have kids now. The door closes. Not slammed, just closed, quietly, which somehow lands heavier than if she'd screamed. Level 3, the curfew. You are 27 now, 4 months out. $310 has become $19. The shelter cot is gone. 3 strikes for missing curfew while working a 2-week temp job that paid you $11 an hour and ended without notice. You sleep 2 nights in a bus station before a security guard moves you along. Reyes flags a missed check-in on your file, the first violation you've had, and reminds you that a second one can mean a hearing, and a hearing can mean going back for a technical violation alone. No new crime required. The system isn't built to help you start over, he tells you. The closest thing to honesty he's offered in 4 months. It's built to watch you almost make it. You apply for one more job that week, a night shift stocking position, and get rejected by an automated email 11 minutes after submitting the application. Too fast for anyone to have actually read it. You do the math you've been avoiding for weeks. $19 left, no address, no shelter bed, a curfew you technically can't meet because you have nowhere legal to be at 9 p.m. That counts as compliant. The math doesn't work. It was never going to work. You just hadn't run out of options yet to prove it. Level 4, the window. You are 27, and it's 11:40 p.m. You stand outside a convenience store on a street with no other lights on, $6 left in your pocket. The same hunger sitting in your stomach that you remember from 8 years ago, right before the decision that cost you everything. Through the window, a clock restocking a shelf. A register with a drawer you know from memory takes 4 seconds to open if it isn't locked. Cameras in 2 corners you clock without meaning to. Old instincts surfacing the way muscle memory does, regardless of the years between uses. You think about Reyes's voice. The system isn't built to help you start over. You think about your sister's door, closing quietly instead of slamming, which was somehow worse. You think about 47 boxes checked yes, and how the checkbox followed you everywhere the truth did. and how nobody ever asked what 8 years actually cost you to survive, only what it made you look like on paper. The clerk's back is turned. Your hand finds the door handle. For 1 second, standing in the glow of the window, your face holds the exact same expression it held 8 years ago, outside a different store, on a different night, before a different door. The same hunger, the same math, the same silence where help should have been. Level 5. The alarm. You go inside. What happens next isn't shown. Only a sound, sharp and electronic, cutting through the empty street, and a shape moving fast through the dark a few seconds later, cutting between buildings, gone before any light catches it clearly enough to be sure. Somewhere across town, at the exact same hour, a steel gate slides shut behind someone else stepping out for the first time in years. $40 in his hand. Nobody waiting for him either. The checklist he's holding says this part is simple. Find work. Find housing. Report within 48 hours. He starts walking because walking is the only thing that still feels like a decision. The cycle was never broken. It just changed which face was standing in the window.